Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the Iraqi dinar. If you want to stay informed with moment-by-moment developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. In today's analysis, we're going to take a careful and grounded look at a circulating claim that suggests a specific near-term timeline involving notifications, appointment scheduling, and what some describe as exchange activity connected to the Iraqi dinar. According to the statement, Friday or Saturday is being presented as a potential window for receiving an 800 number, followed by setting appointments and beginning exchanges with a strong sense of confidence expressed by the source behind the claim. As always, our goal here is not to amplify speculation, but to break this down in a clear, factual, and responsible way so that viewers understand what is being said, what it could mean in a broader economic context, and just as importantly, what remains unverified or uncertain. Let's begin by unpacking the key elements of this claim. The first part refers to being notified and receiving an 800 number. Within certain online communities that follow the Iraqi dinar, this concept has appeared many times over the years. It generally refers to the idea that a centralized contact number would be released to the public or a specific group, allowing individuals to call in and schedule appointments for currency exchange. The second component involves setting appointments, which implies a structured, possibly bank-mediated process for exchanging dinar into another currency, typically the US dollar. The third component is the expectation that this process would begin almost immediately after notification, suggesting a coordinated and large-scale rollout. Finally, the statement expresses confidence in a very short-term timeline, specifically Friday or Saturday, based on unnamed sources. Now, from a professional, financial, and economic standpoint, there are several important considerations that viewers need to understand when evaluating claims like this. First, there is currently no official confirmation from the Central Bank of Iraq, major international financial institutions, or globally recognized banking networks that such a notification system or appointment-based exchange process is scheduled to occur. In global finance, events that involve currency valuation changes or exchange mechanisms at scale are typically accompanied by formal announcements, regulatory guidance, and clear communication from central authorities. Currency exchange systems already exist worldwide, and they do not require special phone numbers or appointment scheduling for standard transactions. If there were to be any significant change in the status or valuation of the Iraqi dinar, it would most likely be reflected through official exchange rates published by the Central Bank of Iraq and international forex markets, rather than through a private or semi-private notification system. This brings us to an important analytical point: the difference between informal community narratives and formal economic processes. Over the years, the Iraqi dinar has attracted attention from individuals who believe in the possibility of a future increase in value. While Iraq does have long-term economic potential, driven by oil revenues, infrastructure development, and gradual financial reforms, these developments unfold through policy decisions, fiscal management, and international economic integration, not through sudden, unannounced events. In the short term, Iraq's monetary policy remains focused on stability. The Central Bank of Iraq has consistently worked to manage inflation, stabilize the exchange rate against the US dollar, and maintain confidence in the banking system. Any abrupt or large-scale change in currency value would require careful planning, coordination with global financial institutions, and clear communication to avoid market disruption. From a timing perspective, it is also important to recognize that repeated predictions of specific dates or windows have historically not materialized in the way they were described. This doesn't necessarily mean that all optimism about Iraq's economic future is misplaced, but it does highlight the need for caution when evaluating time-sensitive claims that rely on unnamed or unverifiable sources. Now, let's consider what this type of narrative might mean for Iraqi dinar followers in practical terms. In the short term, claims like this can create heightened expectations and emotional responses, especially when a specific date is attached. This can lead to confusion or disappointment if those expectations are not met. It can also distract from more relevant and verifiable economic indicators, such as government policy changes, oil production trends, budget announcements, and banking sector reforms. For viewers who are closely following the dinar, a more productive approach is to focus on measurable developments within Iraq's economy. For example, progress in reducing reliance on cash transactions, improvements in the banking infrastructure, anti-corruption measures, and increased foreign investment are all factors that contribute to long-term economic strength. These are the types of changes that can influence currency stability and value over time. In the long term, Iraq's economic outlook is tied to structural reforms rather than sudden events. The country has significant natural resources, particularly in oil and gas, and has been working to diversify its economy, improve governance, and strengthen its financial institutions. These efforts take time, often years, to produce meaningful and sustainable results. Currency valuation, in particular, is influenced by a wide range of factors, including inflation rates, interest rates, trade balances, political stability, and investor confidence. Any meaningful appreciation of a currency typically reflects underlying economic strength and policy consistency, rather than a one-time event or secretive rollout. It is also worth noting that global financial systems operate with a high degree of transparency and regulation. Major changes involving national currencies are closely monitored by international organizations, financial markets, and governments. This makes it highly unlikely that a significant currency-related event would occur without widespread reporting and official acknowledgement. Another key consideration is the role of commercial banks. If there were to be any special procedures for currency exchange, banks would need to be fully prepared, trained, and informed in advance. Customers would receive clear guidance through official channels, not through informal or unverified sources. This ensures compliance with financial regulations, anti-money laundering laws, and operational readiness. So when we hear about an 800 number or appointment-based exchanges, it's important to ask, is there any official documentation supporting this? Are major banks acknowledging it? Is there any regulatory framework being communicated? In the absence of these elements, such claims should be approached with caution. That being said, it's understandable why these narratives continue to circulate. The idea of being early to a potentially valuable opportunity can be appealing, and the complexity of global finance can make it difficult for individuals to distinguish between speculation and verified information. This is why responsible analysis and clear communication are so important. As a viewer, staying informed means relying on credible sources, understanding the fundamentals of how currencies work, and maintaining realistic expectations. It also means recognizing that economic progress is often gradual and that sustainable growth is built over time. In summary, the claim that Friday or Saturday could bring notifications, an 800 number, and the start of exchanges is not supported by any official or verifiable information at this time. While it reflects a perspective that exists within certain communities, it does not align with how currency systems and financial institutions typically operate. The short-term implication is that viewers should remain cautious and avoid making decisions based on unconfirmed timelines. The long-term implication is that Iraq's economic future remains tied to structural reforms, policy stability, and global economic integration, factors that evolve over time rather than through sudden announcements. As always, our commitment is to provide you with balanced, factual, and responsible analysis so that you can make informed decisions and stay grounded in reality. If you found this update helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay connected for more real and responsible Iraqi dinar news. And as a reminder, this content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice.